All right, my next guest, Marcus Dash. He's the co-host of Chief Concerns podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. Nice enough to join us tonight. Marcus, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good, FP. I'm good. Thanks for having me on. This is awesome. This is awesome to be on with you.
Well, it's nice to have you on. And you're a Fairfax guy, right? From Fairfax, Virginia?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we actually, coincidentally, the small sports world, we actually met back in 2017, I believe the year was. It was I was interning at the NBC Washington station, and I was at the Nats clubhouse on Lucas Giolito's first start. And I remember you walking by, and my videographer, I was like, oh man, it's a fee. And I grew up watching Nationals games, and my videographer was like, I'll introduce you. And so he introduced me to you, and you probably don't remember that because you probably meet so many people and know so many faces. But I remember that it was one of those meetings and encounters that you never forget. And then when I got told that I was going to come on your show, I was like, holy crap! Like, what a small world this is.
Well, okay, nobody listens to this show. Was I a jerk? Did I big league you? Yeah, kid, I got no time for you. Thanks for coming. I hope I was nice to you.
No, you were. I think you gave one of the old, it's the sports world, man. It's a grind kind of comment, and so that was that was kind of the comment I got from you. But no big leaguing, none of that.
Good. Well, we're buddies now, so this interview is going to be a lot better. I really appreciate you coming on, and maybe you can help everybody here in San Francisco know a little bit more about the Chiefs and their opponent this Sunday. That's why we have you on, and you do a great job on your podcast. So. The whole OBJ rumors, we got to start there. Travis Kelce saying there's something in the air. He reconstructed his contract, saved the Chiefs like 3.45 against the cap space. So what are you hearing? What are you hearing about these rumors with OBJ?
I mean, look, there's a mixed bag here with the Chiefs fans. A lot of Chiefs fans don't want that to happen, and a lot of Chiefs fans do want it to happen. But as far as what I'm hearing is that, based on what Kelce's a guy who would know, right? And he said there's something in the air, but he also in the same breath said, I haven't heard anything personally, but I would like that. Look, losing Tyreek Hill, and I know a lot of Chiefs fans are tired of hearing about the name. I mean, it hurt in a way. I mean, obviously the numbers aren't reflecting that with Mahomes' numbers, but if you just look at our numbers, he's got 17 passing touchdowns in the season. Only 4 have gone to wide receivers. 13 of them have gone to tight ends, mainly Travis, and running backs. And so, I mean, I hope that these rumors happen, but every day, I mean, you see these things on Twitter, Des Bryant asking OBJ, Bills or Chiefs, and then him not answering at all, just getting a bunch of different emojis, and they don't mean anything. But I hope it happens. But who knows? But I think there is something there. The fact that Travis is even saying there's something in the air, I mean, I guess he can't give us too much insight. And then Shannon Sharp said in Undisputed today that there is something to it, and he does think that Odell is coming to Kansas City. So hopefully these guys are right.
Dude, if Travis Kelce's saying stuff like that, guys in the locker room, in the clubhouse, they know. They know what's going on. That's his sneaky way of saying, I approve of this move, I think. Like, let's do this. Because you could just tell if you read between the lines, he that's going to free him up more to have a guy like OBJ around.
100%. Yeah, I mean, he said it. He said his agent called him Saturday, said, "Hey, we want the Chiefs want to do this move to move somebody around to bring somebody in, potentially make a move." So, yeah, I mean, there's obviously something there. I mean, the big thing is do we go receiver or do we go edge rushers? I mean, that's people. A lot of people in the Chiefs game don't think the receiver's that big of a need. I do, but edge rusher could be something else. There's Brian Burns from Carolina Panthers. They might be, shaking up that whole team, and they could possibly, fielding offers for some of the young guys they have there. So that's potential, but I think OBJ makes all the sense in the world at this point in time.
Well, it looks like JuJu Smith-Schuster had a good game. He caught 5 for 113 and a touchdown last week. How's his development been?
It's been slow, obviously. He even commented on it after the game, saying, it's gonna continue to progress. We're trending in the right direction, and that's the thing. The way Mahomes put it this offseason was the fact that every week there's going to be somebody else, there's going to be somebody new. That's why as soon as I heard Mahomes say that in the offseason, I was like, okay, I'm not drafting any receivers in fantasy. I'll stick to Kelce if I can get him, but outside the receivers, it's going to be a crapshoot. And but yeah, I hope JuJu kind of starts to catch on. And I think this past week was maybe an indicator that we could be seeing that. But yeah, in the offseason when Mahomes had taken a lot of the pass catchers down to Texas to kind of do some offseason workouts with them, the big thing was that JuJu and Pat's chemistry was it didn't seem like it was their first time throwing around with each other. And, we hadn't seen that so far to this point. I think on the season he has about 370 yards receiving. And, first game, he breaks out with that touchdown. Hopefully we can start to see the receivers kind of opening up a little bit. But I think adding an element, a component of OBJ would even help that even further. And obviously, as you mentioned, make things easier for Travis Kelce in the middle of the field.
Yeah, especially if he's healthy. I'm a big OBJ fan. I think he would make you guys even more deadly. Talking to Marcus Dash, co-host of Chief Concerns podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. Nice enough to join us tonight. Okay, the word is Mahomes is scrambling this year when he doesn't have to, that he's kind of leaving the pocket a little bit early. Have you been seeing that? I've only watched a few games, so you watch every game. You're locked in. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that on our show we talked about this a lot, where I think he's gotten so used to doing that in the past with the kind of different offensive lines we've had, and he's been bailing a little bit. I think the one thing he's made a big emphasis on this offseason, and you start to see that a little bit more this year, I think he's staying in the pocket a little bit longer than he has in the past, actually.
Okay.
I'm the opposite of that.
Okay.
Where I think he's stepping up in the pocket more so, and he made a big effort this offseason and emphasis that he wanted to stick around the pocket and not have these big, long dropbacks. The long dropbacks are the reason why, Orlando Brown Jr. is having such a hard time, setting the edge with some of these Devon Millers of the world and other sack artists, is the fact that Mahomes drops back so much that you have these big guys who are trying to block these fast edge rushers who are just beating them to a point. And that's one thing that you see it a little bit where his dropbacks aren't as deep as they were in the past. Pat, getting out of there and rolling out, doing these, improvisational type throws, and that is kind of the beauty of Pat. And sometimes they'll bite him in the butt, but other times, we're all sharing these videos online saying, "Oh my God, you see that play? You rolled out through his left." It's like that's what makes him so special. And and I'll never question anything Patrick Mahomes does. It's funny. We had on our one of our YouTube videos we had up. It was a 49ers fan actually commented on it this week. I think 49ers fans are starting to do some digging, and there was a whole argument on this one video a couple months ago. And it said that, man, you Chiefs fans are really spoiled to even be arguing about Patrick Mahomes. We have 49ers fans arguing about Jimmy G, and, I get that, but, you guys arguing about Patrick Mahomes' greatness is just kind of ridiculous. You guys are spoiled fans, which I think there is a little bit of that. I think that when you have a guy like that, you get to become spoiled, and you look for things to nitpick, and, I just accept for what it is. If he flexes out of the pocket a little fast, than a normal quarterback would, then he's going to find something, and we've seen him do it time and time again. So that's where I am when it comes to that.
You know what, Marcus? I found out my experience is that when a fan base wins a championship, it's like somebody that's poor wins the lottery, and they don't know how to handle all the money. And when a fan base wins a championship, they don't know how to handle winning a championship. So now we've won a championship, and we can sit here and complain a little bit about the best quarterback on the planet or one of the best quarterbacks on the planet because you guys won a Super Bowl. You want to win another Super Bowl. You may win a Super Bowl again this year. Kyle Shanahan, in his press conference, Marcus, compared Patrick Mahomes to John Elway. And I never thought of that before because you think of John Elway, he just would let it rip, right? He had the cannon for an arm. But the improvisation that those two have, I mean, it's so similar now that in my head, since Kyle Shanahan said that this week, that I thought about it for a second. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Elway has a baseball background. Mahomes has a baseball background. And we all know, Marcus, that baseball players are the best athletes on the planet.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Steve is intrigued by the paranormal.
Otherworldly spirits really make a house a home,
Janice has different taste.
I'd like my house to not be haunted.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Steve and Janice found a renovated Victorian that's only haunted from 9 to 5.
Okay, wife's home. I gotta bounce.
Bye, Steve.
Bundling without compromise at geico.com.
Yeah. Mahomes is making that every day. We talk about Mahomes, about being a shortstop, being able to throw in at these different arm angles. You're starting to see baseball players, make for the best quarterbacks at least. I'm not the best overall athletes, but definitely the best quarterbacks.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just been fun to watch him. What's been the difference in the offense without Tyreek Hill?
I think I kind of allude to the fact that you don't really know who's going to step up on each play. And the fact that he has 17 touchdowns on the year, I don't know if that's the league leader. He's up there, at least top 5. But the fact that 13 of those have gone to tight ends or running backs. He's not even utilizing his receivers that much. And so you really can't key in on somebody. And I think everyone playing the two high shell defenses last year kind of forced us to, work the ball downfield and not get used to the long ball. And I think Mahomes having a whole year of that last year has helped him this year, whereas all the other quarterbacks, you're seeing the scoring being at kind of like a 2-year low as far as the amount of points being scored in the NFL, whereas that a lot of these other quarterbacks have never seen the two high shell looks as much before. So they're all kind of getting used to it this year, where at least Mahomes has a leg up on them. And I just feel like it's kind of more – he's kind of mastered it more so this year. And I just think he's going through his progressions. Obviously he bails out the pocket as we talked about, but I just think you can't really key in on any one guy that everyone's kind of a threat on any given play. Just more other guys need to step up. And the one thing, too, what a lot of people don't know is that we already have more big plays, as they say, 20 more yard plays this year than we did last year, all last season already. And that's crazy because we don't have Tyreek Hill, right?
Yeah, listen, except for this week, I root for the Chiefs. I love Travis Kelce. I love Patrick Mahomes. I'm a Niners guy, so I'm rooting for the Niners this week, but they're my AFC team for sure. Talking to Marcus Dash, he's a co-host of Chief Concerns podcast with former Kansas City Chiefs Eric Warfield, Jason Dunn. It's on the Believe Podcast Network. He does a great job. Okay, Marcus, there's a feeling around the NFL, I think everybody will agree on this, that the Bills are better than the Chiefs right now. They won last week. They're playing really well. It's a good team. But there's also a feeling that by the end of the season, the Chiefs are going to be better than the Bills. What do you think?
I'm not going to say I'm biased, but yeah, I'm biased when it comes to this one. I'll say 24-20 last week. Mahomes threw an interception on that last drive there. But look at that secondary. That secondary is all young guys, all rookies. And that's the thing. And everyone was saying, oh, we're leaving them on islands and stuff. Yeah, we were against two of the best receivers in the league. And the one thing that Jason Dunn and always says in our show is the fact that we're starting these young guys out, and they're going to take the lumps. Veach said that our GM, Brett Veach, said they're going to take their lumps this year at the beginning of the season. And by the time we get into December and playoff season, these guys are going to be no stage will be too big for them. A lot of these guys. Trent McDuffie was our first-round pick, who hasn't played yet. He didn't even play the game on Sunday against the Bills. He should be coming back this week against the 49ers, so I'll be interested to see how he does in that game. But the other guys who play against Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis last week, one was a fourth-rounder from Fayetteville State, and the other one was a seventh-round pick from Washington State in Jalen Watson. And these guys, for the most part, are getting the big-time reps with the first team going against Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and those guys, Josh Allen last week. I think as the season goes, those guys will only get more confident in their play. And I think that these young guys will step up in a big way. And hopefully, whether we get OBJ or not, I want us to get another edge rusher. We need another edge rusher just to get to the quarterback. And last week, while we did put some pressure on Josh Allen, we had a blitz to do that. The only way you can be able to beat Josh Allen is you can get pressure without having a blitz, because having that blitzer means it takes one less person away from the secondary, and you kind of need to have that out there. So being able to get to him without blitzing, which is what the Bills did to us last week, if we can do that, I think have our way with Buffalo. It just depends to see if it's going to be in Buffalo or Kansas City in the AFC Championship game.
All right, last one. I ask everybody this all week. We'll have a guest on to preview the game from the city that the Niners are playing in. What do the Chiefs have to do to win on Sunday?
Stack the box. Don't let Jeff Wilson Jr. or Deebo Samuel have a big day running the ball, and make Jimmy throw 30 or more passes this week. I think he threw 41 passes last week, had 2 interceptions. I was looking at his records. I said 30 as a number as far as pass attempts. He's 16-10 all time when he throws 30 or more passes, which kind of surprised me. I thought he was going to have more of a losing record there. But I'll say make Jimmy G beat us, whereas last week when we played Buffalo, we were kind of, hoping the run game would beat us. It's going to be kind of the opposite this week. We're going to be stacking the box and making Jimmy G throw us. So I think having Jimmy G throw the ball 30 more times this week, I think that'll be the key to victory for us.
I'm no football scout. I don't pretend to be one. But every time the Niners throw, it's a 3-yard pass. It's a 5-yard pass. So just bunch everybody up in the middle, and you'll be fine. Just take away the slants and the quick passes. And they never stretch the field. They never throw downfield, rarely. And, yeah, so I still have the 49ers winning 82-0, but But I feel like they need to stretch out the defense a little bit and to run the football to keep Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce off the field. They have to run the ball, and they have to stretch it out on offense. They have to try to hit some home runs this weekend, so we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the line last I saw was 2.5. We were a 2.5-point favorite. That kind of scares me, really, actually. I think based on the line, I think you guys might win the game, to be quite honest with you. But I'm gonna take us with a 2.5. But that line kind of scares me.
The Niners have covered the under in 5 straight games, if that interests you at all.
that actually does interest me.
Yes. And the under is 5-1 in 49ers games this year. So, yeah, you might want to take the under, but with that offense the Chiefs have, who knows? Marcus, thanks a lot for your time, man. It's good catching up to you. It sounds like you're doing great. Your career's taken off. You're on your way. You just did a great job on an interview on 50,000 watts. And we really appreciate your time, man.
Thanks a lot, FP. I really appreciate it, man.
All right, that's Marcus Dash. He's a co-host of Chief Concerns. It's a podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. Nice enough to join us tonight. I'm FP Santangelo. This is KNBR Tonight on the Sports Leader.